Well, good morning everyone. Welcome to day 28 of the How Not to Die challenge. So I am putting together, it's called Hearty Vegetable Soup from Taste of Home, and then tweaking it just a little bit to make it more How Not to Die friendly. And yeah, I'm pretty excited about this. I hope it's going to taste good. We'll see. I don't really know. We'll see. All the ingredients are good, so it should be good. But I'm making half of this recipe, almost half of this recipe. Some things I left the way that they were, like I'm using an entire pepper rather than half of a pepper because what am I going to do with the other half of the pepper? But the whole recipe seems like it would be massive. So I'm only using half the recipe. So first things first, you are actually supposed to take carrots, onions, celery, and green pepper and cook it on the stove for a little while until it starts to get cooked. And then you're supposed to add in the garlic and let that go for about a minute. And then you're supposed to add the rest of the ingredients. It's supposed to cook for an hour to an hour and a half. I have no reason to cook the onion and the carrot first when it's going to be in there for an hour and a half. If the carrot has a little bit of firmness to it left after an hour, hour and a half, no problem. Sounds great to me. So I'm going to show you what it is that I'm adding and tell you the quantities. So you are supposed to take 8 carrots and chop them up. I have 4 carrots chopped right here. 2 large onions. So I just have 1 onion. Again, there's a shadow. 1 onion. You can't see white with my lights in the kitchen very well. So I'm telling you for half the recipe, by the way. So half the recipe. So 4 medium carrots sliced, 1 large onion chopped, 2 celery ribs chopped. I don't have any celery, which is really odd because I almost always have celery. I don't have any, so it's not just getting left out. A large green pepper seeded and chopped, which would be half of a pepper, but I don't know what to do with half of a pepper, and I don't have a green one. So there's a whole red pepper that's been chopped up. You need 1 cup of chopped cabbage. So I had some chopped cabbage for salads left over, so it was already chopped. I just chopped it a little bit more. So I've got that right there. 2 cups of frozen peas, 1 cup of frozen beans. I had a can of beans open in the refrigerator. There are no salt added, so I just put them there. And then you're supposed to have 1 cup of frozen peas and 1/2 cup of frozen corn. And I had a bag of frozen mixed veggies open in the refrigerator, so that's what we're using because that's what's open. And then you're supposed to have 1/2 can of garbanzo beans rinsed and drained. I actually had 1/2 can of garbanzo beans in the refrigerator, so there's that. Oh, and I just lost a garbanzo bean on the floor. How exciting. Okay, so you're also supposed to, for this whole entire recipe, you're only supposed to have 1 clove of garlic. That's ridiculous to me. Anyway, if you can see it or not, there's some garlic just hanging out right here that I plopped out with a spoon. I'm sure it's more than 1 clove, and you only need 1/2 if you're doing half the recipe like I am. It's fine. So that's the main ingredients. There's a couple more, but that's the main ingredients. And then it calls for 1 bay leaf, which I don't know how to do half of a bay leaf without breaking it. I don't really think I want to do that. So there's a bay leaf. It's going in there like that anyway. It calls for 2 teaspoons of chicken bouillon granules. I'm just leaving that out, I guess. Let's see. Then I have in the bottom 3/4 teaspoon of parsley. I left out the salt. You can't really tell what's what in this little cute cup. 1/2 teaspoon of marjoram. 1/2 teaspoon of dried thyme. 1/4 teaspoon dried basil. And then it called for 1/4 teaspoon of black pepper for the whole recipe, which would have been 1/8 teaspoon. I just put 1/4 teaspoon in here. I think that'll probably be fine. And as you can see, there's 1/4 teaspoon of turmeric on the top. Gotta put that in there. That has to be there. So then you also want, for the amount that I'm making for half the recipe, 2 cups of water, a 14.5 ounce can of diced tomatoes, because you want 28, so 14.5. Is fine with no salt added. And then you also want 1 cup of your V8. So I've got some of my V8 left. Obviously all that I haven't used is left. I just made the 1 recipe with it, so I've got a bunch left. Anyways, so I'm going to put that all into the pot. I'm going to bring it to a boil, reduce it, cover it, let it simmer for an hour and a half, and then obviously take the bay leaf out, and then I'll be back with you guys to tell you what it's all about. So one thing, because I'm not putting in any of the bouillon, because that would be really, really salty, I am going to use a low sodium vegetable broth, which is the one that has 140 milligrams of sodium per cup. So I'm going to put 2 cups of that in there. Kind of offset the bouillon a little bit. Not really, because bouillon's really, really salty. But anyway, I think it'll taste fine. We'll see. I'm gonna go get all this on the stove, get it cooking, since it needs an hour and a half. It's actually not quite 2:30, so I have plenty of time. I don't leave till 5, but wanted to get it started and get it done, so it's not maybe too incredibly hot when I want to talk to you guys about it. So I'll see you guys in a little while. Okay guys, so first things first, I had already gotten the soup ready and on the stove and cooking, and it was up to boiling, and I was turning it down to simmer when I decided, how can I not have enoki mushrooms in here? I have to have enoki mushrooms. So I chopped up some enoki mushrooms into thirds and dumped them in there. So I did put 1 extra ingredient in there that wasn't on the list. You gotta have enoki mushrooms, of course. And then also, I tried it several times throughout the cooking process just to see how done the carrots were, because that was basically my way of knowing when I wanted to stop the soup. It only took an hour, for sure. Like, it simmered for an hour, good to go. Maybe some of the really big chunks of carrots that I wasn't super careful with might be a little bit too firm still, but it doesn't, the rest of it does not need an hour and a half, for real. So an hour was plenty of time. And I was a little concerned because when I was eating the carrots, I was kind of like, well, this flavor's kind of, it's okay. This is really good. So this is way better than I expected it to be. And I guess it's just, you get a spoonful that has a bunch of different things on it. So I've got a carrot and onions and a bean and a tomato and some more onions and some enoki mushrooms all on here. That's really good. Yeah, that's very good. I would really like to try and make this soup with my own veggie broth, like making it out of the freezer, the frozen stuff. Obviously haven't gotten to that point yet, but this is definitely worth trying. I really like it. It's actually quite good. Like I said, I was really not expecting it to be quite so good. So it's got a serving of beans in here. It's definitely got 10 tons of vegetables in here, so you don't need to worry about your veggies. It doesn't have any cruciferous. Oh, it has cruciferous because it's got cabbage. Yes, cruciferous in here. It doesn't have any greens. So in order to get greens in for the day, I wanted to make a salad. So I've got a whole bunch of spinach and some cabbage in here, just some more greens, and I've got some corn up on the top, and I've got another serving of beans. So I've got a serving of beans in my soup, a serving of beans in my salad. I'm going to put some tomatoes in here, and I made a dressing with like a scoop of peanut butter and a splash of lemon juice and a little dribble of chili garlic sauce. That kind of chili garlic sauce. This does have some sodium in it. It's got 80 milligrams of sodium for 1 teaspoon, and I used like not even 1/8 of a teaspoon, literally. Like, I'd let it drip in there and then that was done. So not hardly anything. And I just mix it together with a little whisk with a bunch of water till it gets to be the consistency that I want. And I make it a little bit looser because by the time I eat later, it'll have been in the refrigerator and it'll be all thick and stuff. So I make it a little bit looser than what you would think you would want to. Add more water than what you think you want. So I'm going to have a salad, and I'm going to have a big bowl of soup. And the only thing is, so I'll have 2 servings of beans. I'll have had no grains and relatively no fruit. So here's my thing. When I come home tonight, I'm going to have a smoothie bowl. So I'm going to have at least 2 servings of fruit, if not 3, and put it with like 1/4 cup of oats, which would be a grain. I'm also going to take with me a package of my puffed sorghum. So I'm going to take that and I'm going to eat that, and that's a serving of grains. And yeah, I think that'll get me really close to being what I need today. I haven't exercised yet today, and that's okay. I could do that when I get home tonight. But yeah, I've got a few things I need yet to do before I can go. So I'm going to go pack up and get ready for work, and I will talk to you guys again tonight. But yeah, try the soup. It's pretty good. I was kind of surprised. Pleasantly surprised. Alrighty guys, we'll talk to you later. Bye. Alright guys, so I am home, and I am much too lazy to make a bowl of fruit. I know that's horrible, but I really am. I don't feel like it at all. I'm gonna eat 2 little date balls that have goji berries and raisins in them. And I'm gonna assume that this has, between the 2 of them, 1 serving of goji berries would be maybe berries. I'm gonna go with that. And dates and raisins. Yummy. For sure. 2 servings of fruit, 1 berry, 1 regular, and an apple. Good enough. That's what I'm doing. So, I hope you guys had a fabulous day. My day went by really fast. We were busy at work today. We had 3 codes, which is unusual. So made it go by pretty fast. That was nice. And nobody died. Even better. Love it when that happens. Patients can code and they just get better. That's wonderful. Anyway, all right. So I am going to go and tomorrow I'm going to make a recipe out of Dr. Greger's book that's with asparagus. I'm really looking forward to that. Actually, I really like asparagus. I don't like the way urine smells with asparagus, but I like asparagus. Yeah. And then that's all I've got to tell you about for today. I don't have anything else exciting. So anyway, gonna go have some munchie and I will talk to you guys later.